Again, we don't know who perpetrated this, but it is clear from the nature of these devices that these are basically homemade bombs made with a fairly low technology, and we're seeing that no broader organizations are taking credit for this. That did not in any way inhibit some of the basically people who hate Muslims and want to generate fear and distrust of literally 1 billion people around the world. This guy, Erik Rush, who apparently is a Fox News contributor, I don't know what else he does. I don't know if he's like a radio guy or what.
I think he's like a African-American Tea Party guy. I think that's kind of his angle.
And he tweeted out literally moments after the explosion, saying, everybody, quote, everybody do the national security ankle grab. Let's bring more Saudis in without screening them. Come on. Boston Marathon. And just unbelievable.
What he says next is even
well, and
worse.
then somebody responds to him, sweet God, are you already blaming Muslims? And he responds, yes, they're evil. Let's kill them all. And then apparently he later, after deleting the tweets after a period of time, said he was just being sarcastic. What's really reprehensible is if Fox ever lets this guy back on their air. It's just stunning. They're evil. Let's kill them all. Pamela Geller, she is the lunatic who championed the protests to not allow a Muslim community center with what amounts to a chapel inside it to be within 3 or 4 blocks of Ground Zero. And
she also probably runs the premier anti-Muslim website on the internet.
Yes, I don't know what the name of it is. Oh, Atlas Shrugs, that's what it is. And based on that New York Post report that authorities were questioning a Saudi national, she posted on her blog, jihadi arrested in horrific Boston Marathon bombing, which of course was incorrect. Then she went on to write, jihad in America, 12 dead, 50 injured. Also not correct. Blood on your hands, she tweeted at Eli Clifton of the American Independent News Network, who responded to her tweet. Shame on you carrying water for murderers, she said to a human rights law student. Another spokesman for killers, she responded to another. Holy war means dead people, she added. Savages, she said to another. Just an example of how the right will jump on this and attempt to exploit it. You had Laura Ingraham already calling for some type of immigration reform because of this. I mean, they will use this to further their agenda of hate because it dovetails quite nicely. We don't know, again, who this person did this or who these persons are. We don't know why. Again, the only lesson we can learn from this is some measure of empathizing with people in other countries who have been dealing with this for years and years and years. And some of whom have been dealing with this as a function of what our government does.
I know we mentioned it earlier, but I think it's worth mentioning again as we're talking about these people. I mean, Pamela Geller there is dropping facts things that she thought were facts because they cited right from the New York Post. They were the ones who were really, I mean, they were the first to throw out the Saudi thing.
Anybody who's going to read the Post and sort of think that they're getting anything other than a cartoon version of the news at any given time is, caveat emptor. But yes, so
she's also, Pamela Geller is a woman who broke the Barack Obama's Malcolm X's illegitimate child lady as well.
Right.
So this is who we're talking about. But I think what's really disturbing is you have these extremely crazy, horrific people like a Pamela Geller, but they're minutely removed from people who are at like the center of the Republican foreign policy establishment. And that's why this stuff matters, even more deeply than just some assholes on Twitter.
Right. This is not, if this was just some assholes on Twitter, it would just be some assholes on Twitter. And you could go to to Matt's site, what is it? Publicshaming.com.
.tumblr.
To see more of that. But the reality is that Pam Geller has an audience amongst some of the right wing, some of the Republican, frankly, lawmakers. She is driving these issues. She's an important figure in that world. And the leap between her and some of these foreign policy experts who are at these think tanks is minute. They are on a spectrum, and they are not necessarily, and they're not, frankly, exclusive of each other. And so, this is the type of stuff that we're dealing with. Who's that guy who's going around saying that Grover Norquist was a Muslim?
Frank Gaffney.
Frank Gaffney.
Now, Frank Gaffney was, wasn't he on the Defense Policy Board under George W. Bush?
Frank Gaffney was in the Bush administration.
And the Reagan administration, for that matter. And this is a guy who, remember a couple years ago, there was some new seal that was unveiled for some department under the Obama administration, and he said it was like a secret Muslim signal.
Right.
And this guy is not, again, he should just be an asshole on Twitter, but he isn't.
Right. So there's a direct line here. And so this stuff is not without, this stuff is not without implication.